Hey guys, welcome back. We are here with another review. This one of Jordan Peele's new film, Us.
Get Out was really cool and original and fun and not a horror movie.
So, first reactions coming out of this thing. Not impressed. In fact, I was actually very disappointed with this thing. And it wasn't bad or anything, but it was certainly not even close to the quality of Get Out, in my opinion.
I enjoyed it, and I think on a topical level, I liked pretty much most things about it. I thought it was fun. I thought I could just turn my brain off and enjoy it. And I thought it looked really nice, and it was paced pretty well, so I wasn't bored throughout any parts of the movie, except maybe a little bit in the middle. It kind of struggled. The second act, as I'm reading like online about analysis stuff, the second act is pretty lengthy. That's a problem, but overall I came out pretty positive. I enjoyed it, and I liked it, and I think I liked it a little bit less than Get Out, but overall I think as a just fun movie you could see with your family or your friends, maybe not your family, but see with your friends, it's enjoyable.
Let's briefly go over positives. I know you were kind of mentioning them a little bit when you were talking about it, but let's just go into specifics. Acting. Lupita, I think is her name?
Maz Kanata.
She was really good in the film. In fact, she was great.
I liked all the normal people. I liked the boy. I thought he was really fun. Well, not fun, but it was just entertaining to watch him, because I liked how he was really cold. You know?
Another positive I have was the directing. Actually, I thought Jordan Peele did a great job. I don't think he was kind of, broke any ground with directing like he did with Get Out. Because Get Out was a very different type of film, and it was executed very well. This film was just kind of same old horror movie with an interesting idea, but not that interesting of a plot. But we'll get to that later. However, the directing was still good. I wouldn't say there was really anything bad about it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, good on Jordan Peele. Another positive, and probably my biggest positive for the film, the soundtrack. The soundtrack is incredible. And it's actually, I don't want to overhype it, but it's probably one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in a horror movie. It was very good and it worked very well for the aesthetic and what this film tried to do. Now, this is his second soundtrack he made. Get Out was his first one. I forgot what his name was. But man, this guy is a full-on...
His name was Keegan Teague. I think what made the soundtrack kind of like better than Get Out, and kind of like an evolution from it, is that the way they incorporated the rap songs into it. Because the theme of the movie that you guys hear in the trailer is from a rap song, and they completely transformed it. And it was funny, towards the end they even had like the bass notes in the song, they turned them into like violin strums, which is really cool. So it's like they completely transformed the song but also they honored and paid tribute to the song in a big way, and I thought that was really creative. And the way they incorporated like just normal rap songs, just straight up, I thought was cool. They have NWA in the movie later on.
Let's go to negatives now, because there aren't that many negatives per se in the film, but the negatives are huge, in my opinion. Yeah. The biggest one to me is the writing and just the story and how it moves along. I don't know what happened here. Jordan Peele seems like he was very passionate about this, and I'm not saying that he wasn't. However, it doesn't seem like a lot of thought went into this. A lot of stuff is very over-explained, which kind of seems to make up for how it wasn't well thought out, in my opinion. By the end of the film, there's like a ton of plot holes, and you're just like wondering what happened. They should have just left it ambiguous, because over-explaining everything leaves so many questions. We will get way more in depth with that in our analysis video, because there are a lot of plot holes. That's my biggest thing, I feel like, and that's all pretty much spoilers.
I don't know, I just think that they created this whole world, and they tried to explain to you all the rules and stuff like that, and it just ended up confusing me more. And the film took a lot of turns that I thought were really cheap and unrewarding and kind of just unenjoyable. The thing about having plot twists and big reveals and surprises in a movie is you have to give the viewer space to figure these things out. You have to have the viewer, when they realize what's happening and when they are delivered the twist, they have to go, oh, I should have thought of that. Oh my gosh, it was all there. It was all there all along. With this movie, it gives you no room to figure these things out, and it just says, well, this is how it actually is. And it was really frustrating because I'm just like, well, you didn't lead me to believe that in any way. There was no evidence. You just said that just now because you just said it. Now you're just explaining things so that I'm surprised for the sake of being surprised, not because I could have figured it out and you just tricked me. So I feel like the film acted like it outsmarted its audience, but it really didn't.
And I'm not saying Jordan Peele's writing dumb movies, because he's not. But these movies aren't as smart as people are making them out to be.
No.
Even Get Out, I mean, that was pretty obvious social commentary there, and it was definitely a well-written film, but it wasn't like some kind of Shining, where there's tons of underlining themes under it or anything like that. It's not like that. And the same thing goes with this one. Tenfold, because this is a far more simple film. And I mean, we even said it, they over-explained so much, so it's kind of impossible to come out of this thing without having an understanding of it. Plot holes, aside. So yeah, definitely leaves you with no room to think about it, which was very disappointing because, as I said before, the idea of this film had so much room for cool, introspective themes, but instead it just kind of was, I don't know, it was okay.
Well, to go back to the acting, like I mentioned earlier, I thought the acting of the doppelgangers was all really bad, and it was, to me, I think Jordan Peele needs to stop dishing out all these cheap horror things, right? The reason I think Get Out didn't seem like a horror movie to us is because the horror in it, the attempted horror, was so cheap and generic and cliche. And in this movie, it's even more generic and cheap and cliche. Just because someone has their eyes wide open, there's a little kid with a mask, and there's fire going around and scissors everywhere, doesn't mean I'm scared. The thing about Get Out that made it entertaining, at least, is that I thought it was really funny, and it was exciting and thrilling in many areas.
And it was different.
This one is less of a thriller, and it's less funny, to me. And they try to focus more on the horror, but to me the horror is the same as the Get Out horror, where it was just the cheap, superficial, really not scary, just I feel like it's October 31st horror. That's really it. There's nothing really frightening about this movie, which is really sad because they focus on the horror so much. So that was a huge negative for me. I was just like, if you're gonna go do horror, go all the way with it and put some effort into it to make it actually scary.
I'm gonna have to rate this thing a 5 out of 10.
That's a negative Nancy over here.
Well, I mean, it's not negative. It's just I didn't really feel much with this film, and that's just because the biggest flaw with this thing was the writing, and it was so in your face the entire time. I just couldn't get past it. However, there are great things in this movie. The acting, for the most part, is really great, and the directing is good.
I would rate it a 7. It was a really positive movie experience for me. I thought it was really entertaining on a surface level, and I appreciated how they attempted to make a kind of crazy, trippy, original concept horror movie, even though in the end it didn't end up going over so well. But overall, I mean, if I just turn my brain off and just watch it and appreciate it for what it is, I think it's really good.
Thank you for watching.
Check out our discussion video. We're going to go way more in depth. Unless you don't care about that, then don't watch it.
Yes.
That's as simple as that.
Simple as that. See you guys later.
Us.